Welcome to Tia's Table, where we talk about making fitness and wellness doable for busy women like you and me. Looking for healthy meal ideas, workout motivation, and good conversation? Don't worry, I got you, girl. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's have some girl talk. Hey, girl, hey, welcome to another episode of Tia's Table. I'm Tia, a certified group fitness instructor and nutrition coach. I help women develop healthy habits that align with their health, wellness, and fitness goals. I'm so excited to be back here. Let's just be very transparent in this moment. I actually recorded this episode like over a week ago, but didn't like it because I was not in a good mood that day and decided, you know what? I'm not going to put that out. I'm going to come back to this on a day when I'm feeling a lot better, record it, and we will go from there. So it is so nice to be back with you guys. At this point, I'm pretty sure almost everyone's kids, for the most part, are either back in school or maybe your kids start school next week. So everybody's probably been super busy and we have so much to catch up on because of the busyness of it all. And we're also going to talk about how busy we all are on today's call. So let's get right into what is on my table right now. Y'all, I found Cucumber Logan on TikTok. He came across my FYP very organically. I don't even know like how he popped up on my FYP, but he did. And y'all, I have been eating cucumbers ever since. Now, I went ahead and tried his very famous, very viral cucumber salad that has the smoked salmon, the capers, the red onion. Oh my gosh, the cream cheese. I do not put MSG in mine, mainly because MSG has been sold out in both Publix and Kroger, and I refuse to go to Walmart to buy Accent. I'm not going to do it. And to be very also honest and clear, it tastes great without the MSG. So there's that. If you don't want to buy Accent or MSG or whatever, like it tastes very, very good without it. You guys, the way the everything but the bagel seasoning combines with the flavors of that smoked salmon and the capers and that whipped cream cheese that has that bit of chive flavor in it. Oh my gosh. It is so good. I have made it and I've eaten it several times, and it is amazing. Not only is it easy to make and very quick to make, because that's very important to me too. But when you're done, it tastes amazing and it's filling. Now, is it filling in the way maybe another meal would be? Absolutely not. It's not filling like to the point where you're going to be stuffed, right? Like your stomach is not going to be protruding and you are not going to be stuffed. Is it going to be filling in the way that you just won't be hungry anymore once you're done eating it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that because it's like it curbs your appetite without making you feel so super stuffed and gross. And it tastes so good. Just as a side note, Cookie, my dog, is in here with me while I record today. So you might hear him walking around and shaking out his fur and all of the doggy things. But girl, like it is so good. So good. The only other thing that I would say about it would be, if I had to like be very picky, is I know in the videos, everyone is shaking out their salad or they're shaking it up to mix it. Girl, just use a spoon. Like we too grown. We're too grown. Just stir it with a spoon. Stir it up. Stir it up and just get to the salad a lot quicker. That would be my only thing. Other than that, it tastes phenomenal. So kudos to Logan for putting that out into the universe and letting all of us know how very good cucumbers can be when you mix them with other things. I love that for all of us. Please try that salad. I know cucumbers are like being recalled right now for salmonella. So please check your store and check where your cucumbers came from before you buy them. But other than that, like, girl, please get the cucumbers and make the salads. They are amazing. And go to his TikTok because he has like a million different cucumber salad recipes up there. I have also made a Caesar, like grilled chicken salad cucumber thing. It was also very delicious, but I would have to say that so far that smoked salmon, red onion, caper, cream cheese, everything but the bagel, viral salad has to be my favorite. So good. It is so good, in fact, and then we're going to move on. I added plain white rice that was like leftover from Chinese takeout. I added some of that to one of the cucumber salads one day just because I was like, oh, I probably should eat some, some carbs today because I've been eating all these cucumbers, which the cucumbers have carbs in them, but it's not that much. So I'm like, ooh, let me add a little bit of rice to this because, and that will probably be very good because now it's going to give sushi bowl once I do this. And y'all, it was so good. So good. And it's been a long time since I've made something and I came up here and I told everybody that they had to go make it or try it or whatever. And it was something that literally everybody can do this. There's no cooking involved. You don't need a stove or a pot or a pan or anything. Because sometimes I get up here and I say stuff and I get messages like, girl, ain't nobody trying to cook, or girl, Well, this one, you don't have to cook. You just need a knife or a mandolin and the ingredients and a bowl. And it's going to be amazing. So try it. And once you've tried it, you come back and you let me know what you thought about it because it is so good. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about a few different things. I also wanted to wrap up the book from the 80s because the last chapter of it does talk about how we could be managing our stress. And I find the advice from the 80s to be very interesting. However, some of it is a little redundant and it's kind of like things we already know. So we might not spend that much time on the book, but I do want to cover it just so that we can close it out. Yes, I really want to talk about 75 Hard and the lessons that I have learned from it up to this point. Now, today I think is like day 36, maybe, of 75 Hard. We're on day 36, so we're approaching, or we're right at that halfway point of the challenge. So far, I would say, when we first started, it did not seem hard at all. I was kind of like, oh my gosh, we can totally do this. This isn't that hard. I don't know why it's even called 75 Hard. Now that we're on day 36, I'm like, no, this is hard. This is hard, and let me tell you why. It is hard because who has the time? Who has the time every day? Who has the time every single day, all of the days of the week, to work out at this level? Now, what 75 Hard has taught me is that there were more days than I would like to admit, or maybe even that I realized that I wasn't working out due to all of the things that I have going on. So I would tell myself, like, if there was a day where I have to go grocery shopping, which means I got to go to more than one store, I got to go to Costco, I got to go to Kroger, and quite possibly Publix if Kroger doesn't do me right? I would say to myself, oh, well, I'm going to run all these errands, and I also got to go to Home Goods, and I got to go to Target, and I've got to go to all these places. I'm going to be busy and walking all day. Like, truly, that's going to be my workout, putting these groceries into my car, getting them out of, well, when I get home, my kids get them out of the car, but you know what I'm saying? It's hot outside. Like, I'm going to be fatigued and tired. So I don't need to work out today, is what I would tell myself. Well, one day I went to Costco, I went to Kroger, I did the things around the house that I needed to do. So I was up and I was moving around like all morning long. I looked down at my watch when I was done because I wanted to see what all of that doing yielded in steps. And when I looked down at my phone and I saw that I only had 3,500 steps from doing all of that work, I said to myself, this is why people don't even do this. This is why nobody tries and works out consistently and all of that, because you will do so much. You will check your watch and you will see, well, that wasn't that much at all. Actually, I've been walking since I got up this morning and I only have 3,500 steps. Now, because I know someone's going to be super particular and they're going to tell me, oh, well, when you're pushing the cart in the store, your arm isn't moving, so your watch may not be picking up the steps, yada, yada, yada. And I can kind of get behind that way of thinking. But when I sat down and really gave it a playback in my mind, like a play-by-play of me in the store in my mind, I'm like, nope. When you're in the store, first of all, you're walking slow. You're not even walking quick, fast. There's no power in your walk. You are strolling through stores, right? That's number one, which means you are not taking as many steps as you think, right? Number two, I'm like, yeah, your hand might be on the cart, pushing the cart, but every now and again, I would like to believe that your watch is still probably picking up something, which makes me feel like these steps are accurate. And if they aren't accurate, then it's probably only off by maybe like a couple hundred, which means just because your watch says 3,500, there's no way in the world it actually should have 10,000 steps on it. No, that's just not, nope. So then when I thought about that, I was like, well, you know what, Tia, you know what that means? That means previously when you would have these busy days full of errands and cleaning and like all this stuff, and you would say, well, I'm not going to work out today because I need to get all this stuff done. That was a real thing. That is real. And I'm only sharing all of this because I don't want anybody out there to gaslight themselves. Like, I don't want your life to gaslight you into believing you had more time, right? Because you probably did not. When we have those days when we're like super busy and you got so much to do and you got to clean, you got to get stuff for the kids so that they can go back to school the next week, and you got to go grocery shopping and you got to do all these things on days like that. Particularly Sunday seems to be the day that sticks out for most people. When you have like a busy Sunday like that, you feel as if like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my workout for the day. I can't do anything else because I'm already doing so much. And that is real. That is a true, real thing. And 75 Hard doing that challenge has taught me that on days where I'm already so busy, I literally do not want to do anything else because I'm tapped out just from doing the things that I have to do. So when you think about working out, you're like, you do see it as like an extra thing that's just on your list of things to do for the day when you're already having, quite the physical day in terms of like movement and like doing the things you need to do. So when I thought about that, I was like, okay, let's break down a month then. If every Sunday or one day out of the week when I have to run all these errands, I'm telling myself I can't work out because of this. There's 4 Sundays in a month. So that's 4 Sundays right there. Then let's say there might be days where I go get my hair done. And I go get my hair done. And then I say to myself, ooh, well, I don't want to work out, definitely not working out after I get my hair done. So the day that I get my hair done, absolutely not. The next day, no, I don't think so. Now, the day after that, you might see me like walking or like doing something that's light that won't involve too much sweat so I can kind of hold on to my hair. But then when we're counting that, then we're like, there's 1, 2, 3. Those are 3 days now that I would be telling myself I'm not working out. And if I get my hair done twice a month, that's 6 days. You add the 6 to let's say the 4 Sundays that I just say not working out because I'm super busy on those days. Now we're at 10 days out of a 30 or 31 day month where I'm like, not working out. Which then means you have about 20 to 21 days left in a month that you're looking at in terms of being active, right? If any one thing happens on any of those days, someone's sick, something happens, my day gets away from me. If I don't wake up and do my workout first on every single last one of those days, I'm not going to see results. And I might not even see any results working out the 21 days. Let's say I'm able to work out every single day of that 20 or 21 days. it's a possibility that working out that much was only going to help me maintain where I was, and it wasn't going to help me get any growth. And how I know that is because now that we're doing 75 hard, and I am having more of like a no excuses approach to working out, which means if I have to get up early, I'm doing it. If I have to work out at the end of the day, I'm doing it. If I have to work out in between things, I'm doing it. I'm making it happen every single day. And because I have been doing the challenge and meeting myself, even when it's been quite the inconvenience to me, I have seen results from the 75 hard challenge. So like I said, we're only on day like 35 or 36. And so far, I've lost a little over 7 pounds in that time frame, which is pretty incredible. I had my measurements taken last week, and I'm down like anywhere from a half to a full inch in my, I think they only measure like your upper body, like around your rib cage. Then they do your waist, and then they do, is it your hips? Then I think she did my hips. Either way, I was down a little bit in all of my measurements, which is great. So I say all that to say, as much as I have truly kind of come to a place where I'm like dreading the challenge, you got to give credit where it's due. And the challenge is working. What it has taught me is that like, oh yeah, so if you do this every day, if you are walking and working out like this every single day, you are going to see results. Like you're going to see movement. The only problem with that is I have 3 kids, a dog, and a husband, and a budding business that I'm trying to still figure out and navigate. And so I don't always have time to work out for an hour and a half every single day. And I've spoken to a few people about this already. Is it that we don't have the time, or is it just that we're not willing to make the sacrifice to meet ourselves where we want to be? And for me, 75 Hard has taught me is not that I don't have the time. I'm just not always willing to make the sacrifice. Because let's talk about that. During the week, many of us already wake up so early because we've got to get the children up, dressed, fed, packed, and where they've got to be on time, right? So you're already getting up early during the week. Then by the end of the day, chances are your children have come back into the picture. You've been at work all day. Now, when you get off work, now your kids are back in the picture. So you haven't had a moment to like decompress, regroup, work out, or anything. Now you're back into like that mommy mode of, you know, my kids got this activity after school, or they've got practice for something, or maybe they just need to come home and do homework. Like I need to cook, whatever it is, you are busy once you get off work and those children come home from school. Which means by the time you're finished cooking, let's just say that it's and this is going to be very generous because I know this is not the case for everybody. So please don't say anything to me about this. But let's just say you're done cooking dinner and all of that at like 6. Maybe y'all have even eaten, like the family is sitting down to eat at like 6 or 6:30 or whatever, which means that your next available opportunity to work out might not be until 7. Now, is 7 o'clock bad? No, it's not. You could work out at 7 and still be in the bed by 9. However, do you feel like working out by the time you have lived that whole day? No, we don't. By the time my children finish dinner and they go upstairs to take baths and showers, I don't feel like doing anything else. Like that is what I consider to be the close of the day. When they take their baths at 7:30. So my goal every day is to have everything like done, have them fed, like whatever. 7:30, you go upstairs, you get in the bathtub, you get in the shower, like whatever. So at 7:30, the only thing I'm willing to do is start the dishwasher. I try to close up that kitchen by 8 o'clock so that I can take a shower and I can be in bed by 9. Which means I would have had to work out at some point during the middle of the day while they were at school, or I would have had to get up before I start the whole breakfast making process to get them ready for school. And to be honest with you, getting up before I already do is another sacrifice that I haven't been willing to make yet, but I'm slowly coming into the fact that that's just what's got to happen, right? If I want to work out and not have my workout eat up my entire day while they are at school so that I can work and like be more productive with some of the stuff that I want to do, I'm going to have to start waking up sooner because there is no time. There is no time. So again, just in a place of true transparency here, after I drop my middle schoolers off, middle school doesn't start until 9:00. So by the time I drop them off and I get back home, I'm normally back home by 9. I come in here, I wrap up whatever might have been going on. So like the stuff that might have gotten left out with me making breakfast, lunches, whatever. Like I make sure I put all that stuff away and I try to tidy up the kitchen, clean it up so that the kitchen is not a mess as I walk through it all day long, because that would bother me. But so like I tidy up the kitchen, I get ready, like I put on my workout clothes, and I go out for the 45-minute walk. I have been walking outside for that unless it's raining, but I've been walking outside for that every day for this challenge. What I have also learned from 75 Hard is that I walk a lot faster outside than I do on the treadmill. And that could just be because of the way the treadmill feels. I'm 5'4", but in order for me to get the same pace on the treadmill that I have outside, I have to crank the treadmill up to like a 4, like a speed of 4 almost, which feels really weird to me on the treadmill. I would rather just run. Like if I'm going to cross over or get close to 4, like I'd rather just start jogging. And that, I don't know, jogging, maybe I'm just feeling a little over the whole like running thing for the moment. But I'm like, no, I can walk outside, and that walking is way easier on my body and on my joints. And I literally get the same burn. I get the same amount of steps, like, well, probably not the same amount of steps as running, but you see what I mean? Like it comes out to be almost the same thing. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna walk outside. And I like walking outside because, like I've said before, it is hilly where I live. So I feel like more of my muscles get a workout when I walk outside, as opposed to just putting my treadmill on an incline and being stuck on that one incline for the whole time. The time goes by way faster outside too. So anyway, so I walk outside from 9 to about 9:45. I come inside. I get water. I get one of my IV hydration packets. I make myself some electrolyte water. Then I go to the basement and I work out for the next 45 minutes, which will contain my strength. And my strength or other cardio workout differs depending on the day. Today I did upper body. Tomorrow I'll do lower body. Wednesday I do believe I do core. Thursday, I do a full body workout. Fridays, I do yoga. Saturdays, I do double cardio. So I'll walk outside for either the whole hour and 30 minutes, or I'll do a 45-minute walk outside. Then I'll come inside and do 45 minutes on the treadmill. And then on Sundays, I do my walk and I'll ride my bike. So I'm getting a variety of workouts in, which is important. So something else that 75 Hard has taught me is that mixing it up has been good to my body. Like I'm not sore. I'm not achy. It has been somewhat interesting to me trying out different workouts. I've tried trampoline workouts. I'm going to get back into my Bosu ball probably one day this week. I think I'm going to try a Bosu ball workout, but I've been incorporating different pieces of equipment just to keep things fun. I went to a Pilates class. What was that, a week ago? I went to a Pilates class like in person. That was great. And I'm having a lot of fun with the workouts. It's just that I would be lying to you and me if I said I had the time for this every day, because I don't have it. I don't have it. And when I see certain things online where people are telling people like, oh, you can do it, like you can get the steps in, or if you're not doing it, it's just because you don't want to, or whatever, yada, yada, yada. Don't let those people do that to you. Don't let them do that to you, because a couple things with that. Number one, in order to get 10,000 steps in a day, you would have to do, at the bare minimum, you would have to be doing at least a 40 to 45 minute intentional walk. And by intentional walk, I mean you put on clothes and you say, I'm going for a walk, right? You go out there and you walk. Now, let's say you walk 45 minutes. Within that 45 minutes, depending on how fast you're walking, you'll probably get anywhere from 7 to maybe right up under 9,000 steps, right? And that's if you're not running. I'm talking about just solely walking, right? You're walking. Okay, so when that 45-minute walk is over, as you move throughout the day, maybe you are walking, you're going to work, you are going to the grocery store, maybe you're a little league coach or whatever, like you're just living your life. Throughout the day, you will pick up the rest of the steps that you need to get the 10,000, right? You will probably end up landing somewhere, and this is a conservative estimation, but through my own personal research, I have found that even with you walking maybe not so much during the day, you'll still end up with about 12,000 steps, which is great. And for most people, that is well above the amount of steps you're getting in any regular day. That, to me, has been one of the single most important lessons I've learned from 75 Hard. Truly, getting, I would say, over 12,000 steps each day is where your weight or fat loss is going to come from. I don't feel comfortable saying, 10,000 steps a day, it will get you fat loss, whatever. I don't feel comfortable saying that, because for a lot of people, you probably already are getting close to 10,000 steps a day, or you're getting 10,000 steps a day. And maybe you haven't seen any movement. Like the 10,000 steps is just strictly maintenance for your body. It's not moving your body one way or the other. So for most people, I think we do need to be getting well over 10,000 steps if your goal is some type of weight or fat loss, right? 75 Hard has taught me that. Previously, my goal for the day was like everybody else's. Let me just make sure I get my 10,000 steps a day. And that 10,000 steps a day wasn't doing nothing for me. Okay? And keep in mind, y'all remember I was running. I was training for the Peachtree Road Race. So I was running, and you would say to yourself, oh, well, she's running, so that should be doing something. No. Nope. And I think the part that we all kind of, not that we miss it, but maybe we haven't truly just sat with it, is the fact that it's per day. And when they say per day, they mean all of them. You know what I'm saying? They mean all of the days that you should be getting these steps, which I think is where some of us are like missing it. And I know I was, girl, because like I have already told y'all, I would work out all during the week, and then on Saturday and Sunday, it was not that. It was, let me sit on this couch, let me do the things that my family wants to do, and all of that is fine. That's actually really great balance, but it wasn't getting me towards my goals. So maybe once I get back to a place where I feel like I'm at my goal, those are some things that I'll revisit. But for now, I'm like, yeah, no, truly it's the per day. It's the per day. Like you really got to be into it every day. And that is where it gets exhausting. And that is what burns people out. And that is where people fall off the wagon, because per day is a lot when you're already doing so much. And women do so much. We do so much. Even if you're not physically doing a lot on any given day, I bet you're mentally doing a lot. You're mentally carrying a lot. And even that can exhaust your body, right? So when you think about piling on top of that, the pressure of trying to get steps in, and you're eating one way, and you're trying to get all this water in and all of it, it feels like too much. So something else that 75 Hard has taught me is that once this challenge is over, I will for sure continue with the steps every day, because I am absolutely certain that much of the results that I've gotten from this challenge have solely come from the steps. It's come from the steps, and it's come from that eating scale. That if you haven't gotten that eating scale yet, I don't know what to say, but the scale is like everything, and it's helped me out so much. So I really do believe that my results have come from just the walking and just the eating, right? Because I was always strength training, like doing Pilates and lifting weights and all that stuff. That wasn't new to me. Now, the part that is new is the fact that I have been doing something every single day. And so what 75 Hard has also taught me is that I won't be doing that when this challenge is over, because I don't think that that's mentally healthy. I don't think that that's a good way to practice wellness, making yourself feel like you can't have one day to just kind of rest and decompress. And for me, that day truly does need to be Sunday. I don't like having to work out on a Sunday. Now, would I be interested in maybe walking a trail or something like that on a Sunday? Sure. Maybe doing something that was active, but like it was no pressure behind it. I'm just going to go for a walk with my kids. Maybe like when the seasons change and it's cooler outside, we do a lot of trails as a family. So that's something that I could totally see myself doing. But am I going to sit here and tell myself, oh, when this challenge is over, you gotta work out like this every single Sunday? No. If there's a Sunday and I'm feeling it, I'll do it. If there's a Sunday and I'm like, oh no, I'm feeling this robe. Let me tell you what I'm feeling on a Sunday. Okay. On Sunday, I'm feeling like church. I'm feeling like a robe. I'm feeling like pajamas. I'm feeling like sitting on the couch. I don't even want to grocery shop on Sunday anymore. And so let's talk about that for a second, because no matter what I seem to do during the week, my goal is to always position myself so that on weekends, I'm not out in the world unless it's like a date night type thing, right? But I don't want to be out there on the weekend when everybody else is trying to run errands. I just really don't want to be, because people are not in the best mood. Their energy is a little too much for me on the weekends. So I like being home or being somewhere like with my family for fun, maybe on the weekend, but not necessarily out there trying to like hunt and gather for the supplies and the food. I don't want to do that. And let me tell you why. Because on Sunday, I was at Costco and Kroger this past Sunday, hunting and gathering. And Costco was fine. Costco always does me right. Maybe that's because I'm in and out of there too quick for anything to really pop off. But let me tell you something about Kroger. Kroger and after church Kroger, like the after church Kroger crowd, really is a complex one. Okay? If we can just be real for a second. Because how do you leave church and you got attitude that quick? Like you left church, you still have on your church clothes. You are in the grocery store, mad with attitude. How did the spirit levitate off of you that fast? Like from the parking lot of wherever you just came from to the parking lot of this grocery store. Something popped off and it has got you upset. And so now you're in the grocery store, like doing the most. And I'm really going to need everybody to kind of stay in the spirit until you get all the way home. Okay? I was in Kroger on Sunday and I was on the phone with my mom while I'm grocery shopping. And I told her, I was like, I'm going to have to get out of this grocery store. Like I'm going to grab these last couple of things and I've got to get out of here because it's too much in the store. There are people everywhere. The people are not nice people. And the people probably should have stayed for prayer after church because it's a lot going on and it's Sunday. Like, this is why I need to be home. And so this week, my whole goal, my entire mission for the whole week is to make it so that On Saturday and Sunday, if I choose to leave this house, it is because my sweet little babies want to go somewhere and do something. Mommy, I want to go do this, or I want to go do it. That's the only reason I'm going to leave. I will not be at nobody's grocery store or wholesale warehouse this weekend. You can mark my word on that, because it's really giving, I understand we all got problems. I really do. But it's also giving, leave your problems at home. Don't bring them to Kroger, because I can't. And I won't. And I learned that. Through 75 Hard, I have learned that I really need my Sundays for me. I really need on Sunday for me to be able to paint my nails if I want to, because I soaked my nails off. Like, I decided that, you know what, Tia, you really don't like going to the nail salon. And we've talked about this before. So why do you keep going? Like, why do you keep going when you know you don't like it? And on top of that, you pay to not like it. Like, you're giving them the money and you don't even like it. And it's not that they do a bad job. I actually ended up finding somebody who is amazing and she does a great job. But at the end of the day, I'm like, again, because of time and how time seems to just disappear into the void sometimes, I'm like, I don't want to make time to go to the nail salon on a regular basis every month. Like, I just don't want to make time for that. I don't want to sacrifice the time. So I soaked my nails off. And on Sundays, I would like to be able to do my nails for the upcoming week. And that shouldn't be too much to ask. I should have the time to do that. And so I've learned in doing 75 Hard that I'm all for working out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But on Sunday, I really want a full day of wellness. I really want a full day to do nails, to maybe give myself like some deeper skincare, to maybe take a hot bath, to just sit and watch movies with my family, to just not be bouncing around or running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Like, no, it's a wrap for that. Those days are over. So if you too are a woman who is always constantly doing something, like you're always on the move, you feel like you live in your car, you are me, I am you, I understand you, you understand me. Girl, we are going to reclaim our time like Auntie Maxine told us years ago. She told us years ago to reclaim our time, and I don't know if we forgot when COVID was over to like keep reclaiming the time, because then things opened back up and we got back big, and then everybody wanted to be like outside. Okay, I done seen outside. I done seen it, and I'm fine if there are some days during the week where I don't see it. And that is what I'm trying to move forward to. And I really do believe that doing 75 Hard teaches you more about your time and how you're spending your time, more than it teaches you about the fitness component of it, which I think they draw people in with the fitness component of it, because obviously you want to work out. You might be hoping to get some type of results at the end of it. But on the journey of 75 Hard, you learn so much about yourself and so much about how you were previously using and spending your time. And for that reason, I will be very thankful for this whole experience, because it has pointed out to me different things that maybe I was doing in excess, right? So another example, like, of course, on 75 Hard, you're not supposed to be having alcohol or like drinking or whatever. And I have learned through this challenge that, like, oh my gosh, Tia, you really were loving your wine and your champagne and like the occasional cocktail. Like, now that I'm not drinking, I notice when I probably would have been. And of course, like with me, I'm equating that into calories. I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of calories that you're just not consuming anymore because you're not drinking them. Is this to say that I will never have a glass of wine or a glass of champagne again? Absolutely not. Truly, I definitely will. But this has taught me that maybe I don't need to drink as much as I probably was. And I didn't even realize that I was drinking that much. But I definitely was. I was blind. You know how on social media right now, people are saying people have like eyelash blindness,
or like eyebrow blindness, meaning that you can't really tell how bad you look with whatever it is you got going on. I mean, not me, because the girl that does my lashes does an amazing job, but some people are like getting called out on social media for style choices, and people are saying that they are just blind to the fact that this thing doesn't look good. I would say the same thing about Prosecco and wine and like cocktails. Sometimes we really don't realize how much of that we are consuming until we're not consuming it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I would have like on the weekends, I would have wine while I was cooking, because it's like my hobby. I would be baking or like making something or whatever. I would just be cooking for fun, and I would have wine or champagne while I did that. Then we would sit out on the back porch and like play music and like have snacks, me and my husband. And I would probably have wine or champagne with that. We would obviously have dinner, right? Or we would go out to dinner. Then you're having cocktails or like wine or champagne with that. And it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, like I pray like that I'm sure my liver is fine. I've gone to the doctor. She's doing great. But you know what I'm saying? Like, my goodness, it was a lot. And now that I realize how much it used to be, I can fix that for myself, and I can bring it back a little bit. Let me rein in some of that Prosecco just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's been very helpful to learn. I think it's taught me so much about what I'm capable of doing too. So when I sit here and I tell myself like, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, and it's kind of like, oh no, you can. And it's the difference between being able to and just not wanting to. You can do it. You just don't want to. And it has made it very obvious to me what things I truly just don't want to do, and what things that I'm kind of like, oh, I could do that. I've learned a lot from being active every single day. And when this challenge is over, the challenge ends on September 28th. When this challenge is over, I for sure will be taking Sundays for myself. I will for sure continue walking every single day. I will for sure continue to read. I will for sure be more mindful of how much wine I'm drinking. And I will for sure make time for some of the other things that do mean a lot to me. And I will not allow myself to be so consumed by like the workout part of it all that I forget about all the other things that also make me feel really good too. And that would be the only negative thing I would have to say about 75 Hard, because there isn't a wellness piece in the challenge. You really don't get to learn anything about yourself in terms of that. You only get to kind of realize that if you're not careful, you can make working out and eating right your two top priorities in terms of like wellness and fitness. And that's okay if that's you. But if you're a person that seeks more balance, that wants it to feel, a little bit different, you want it to feel like there's a sense of ease in your routine at some point, or like just a day for you to like exhale, 75 Hard will definitely teach you that too. That there's got to be at least one day out of the week where you are giving yourself rest, grace, a chance to decompress, and just not do anything. And I'm very thankful for that lesson too. I think that 75 Hard has highlighted for a lot of people how time does seem to just be getting away from them. Because now you see like, oh my gosh, I work, I do family things, or I fulfill all of my responsibilities as a grown-up. Then I work out, and now it's time to go to bed. And, that hasn't been that great. I have also seen, which this has nothing to do with 75 Hard, but I have also seen things online recently about kind of like shaming people for the fact that they're not able to do certain things. And again, I will just say, do not let other people, especially strangers you don't know on the internet, make you feel like you should be doing more than what you're doing, or that everybody's capable, because girl, everybody ain't able. And Trust me when I say this to you, okay? Trust me when I say that if there's somebody out there doing more than you, or you feel like they're doing more than you, you're assuming they're doing more than you, or they're just saying they're able to do something that you're not able to do, trust and believe that that means you're doing stuff that they are also not doing. Trust me when I tell you that you probably are also doing something that they are not doing. And we don't have to go into detail and give examples of that. You just know for yourself. The next time someone says like, oh, well, you should be able to do that, or you should be able to do that because I'm able to, like I'm able to do yada, yada, yada. You say to yourself, yeah, but you probably don't do this, 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 and this. And these are all things that I do every day. So, we don't want to clock people's tea, but we will do it if we have to. Which could be stressful, right? The whole thinking around time and how much time I have and how much time I'm allocating to something and I don't have any time. I'm always pressed for time. That can stress you out. And I want to refer to our book from the 80s to kind of talk about stress management for a minute before we move on. Because some of their ideas about stress management are kind of things we know, but then some of them were kind of interesting to me. So, in the beginning, they say, at its most fundamental level, stress is any demand placed on the human mind and body. Got it. They say that stress affects all of us, regardless of our age, sex, or occupation, and it may be either good or bad stress. Stress, however, is generally thought of as a negative force that attacks all of us who are living in today's nonstop high-pressure society. Facts. You should not and cannot avoid stress, because to eliminate it completely would mean to destroy life itself. If you make no more demands on your body, you are dead. This is what the book is saying. I mean, I get where they were going with it, but the delivery was a bit much for me. The body responds to stress, producing situations or stressors with a series of changes in body chemistry, glandular reactions that result in sudden increases in pulse rate, blood pressure, and blood sugar. And these in turn initiate resisting or compensating bodily responses. Now, what was interesting to me about that is that I think for the most part, all of us knew that when we get stressed out, our pulse rate goes up and that our blood pressure could possibly increase. But I know for a fact, I never, ever considered blood sugar as a side effect of stress. Like I know that has never crossed my mind that like, oh my gosh, my blood pressure, my blood sugar is going to go up because I'm stressed out. So they say virtually everything we do each day in our complex society, from driving home in teeth-clenching rush hour traffic to listening to a recitation of all the world's problems on the 6 o'clock news, produces at least some small amount of stress. To remain in optimum health, we must learn how to cope with it. The chronic presence of stress-related hormones in the body eventually reduces its ability to resist disease. The immunological system actually begins to wear out, and we become vulnerable to a wide range of diseases. Some researchers even believe that cancer can be induced by unmanaged stress. The human body simply can't be expected to respond constantly to heavy negative stress stimuli without having its blood pressure and heart rate remain dangerously high. And this is precisely what takes place within the bodies of individuals subjected to heavy daily stress. Eventually, the hypertension or elevated pulse rate, or perhaps even negative psychological effects resulting from long-term heavy stress, causes the body to break down. This may not happen to you, but you may already exhibit other less profound symptoms of stress-related physical or mental disorder. Here is a comprehensive list of symptoms that can be associated with stress-related illness. And now I'm going to read this list, and you can take note of anything that feels like it might be for you. Grinding teeth, particularly while you're sleeping, migraines, increased smoking, increased alcohol use, insomnia or fitful sleeping, meaning you have nightmares, irritability, depression, anxiety, shoulder, neck, or back pain, sexual dysfunction, chronic fatigue, indigestion or heartburn, hypertension, irregular pulse rate, skin eruptions, skin dryness, spontaneous sweating, overeating or undereating, poor concentration, frequent flus or colds, persistent body infections, loss of enjoyment of life, lack of physical coordination, skip menstrual periods, impulsive irrational behavior, thyroid dysfunction, forgetfulness, unexplainable pain, speech problems, meaning stuttering or slurred speech, and dependence on tranquilizers. And now, when I got to that last one, I said, now, I don't know what they were doing in the 80s, but and I need to probably Google this, but what do they mean by tranquilizer? Is that like an opiate, maybe? Is that what they mean? Like oxycodone or something? I don't know. But I was just like, ooh, what in the 1980s is a tranquilizer? So then they say if you exhibit one or more of these symptoms, you may need to try to identify and neutralize your stressors, right? Anytime you feel pressured by someone or something, you are under stress. That's the easiest way to identify what your stressors might be. So we think about that, and we think about that in terms of ourselves, like we put so much pressure on ourselves to do certain things or to get certain things done, probably by a certain time. Then we have work that puts pressure on us. You might have family members that don't live in your house that put pressure on you to do certain things. You might have friends, just different obligations that you get stressed out over. And, I had a friend say to me one time, just like in conversation, that she never does anything out of obligation. And when she said that, it really touched my soul and my spirit, because I feel like I'm a person who will definitely do things because I feel obligated. Not because I have the time, not because it's in my budget, not because I feel like I want to or whatever. Sometimes, and I know I'm not the only one, there have been times where I have done things purely because I have felt obligated to do it, right? Now that I'm, 40 and everything, and ever since she said that to me, I have really tried not to do that anymore. So now when I do things and I go places or I make certain choices, it is because I actually want to, or I feel like it's necessary, not that I'm doing it out of obligation. And that has reduced a lot of my stress by not feeling obligated to do certain things and not following through with the things that people project onto me as being an obligation for myself. I'm like, no, you might feel obligated to do something. You might want me to feel obligated to do it, but let me tell you, I am not. And so then I won't be. And that has helped me out a lot. So it says, regardless of the outcome, your stress level will be high until the uncertainty of your situation is resolved. Change is as stressful as uncertainty, which is very true. Regardless of the stressor, in any depersonalizing situation, you can help solve the problem by finding something you are good at to occupy yourself and establish your self-identity. Excelling at something brings self-satisfaction and hence relief from stress, like a hobby. Which is why I say having one day out of the week that is solely for wellness is so important. I know I talk a lot here about eating right and working out, and those two things are so very important. But I do also believe that at least one day out of the week, we have got to carve out time to do other things that just make us happy. Period. So if you have other hobbies, other things you like to do, or if you just don't want to do anything, you just want a day of just sitting and being able to watch TV or read or scan Pinterest or whatever it is you like doing, have a day out of the week where you just allow yourself to do that, because being able to decompress in a way that makes you happy, in a way that you're probably good at, in a way that makes you feel like you've achieved something, is going to do wonders for your stress level. So then they talk about age and stress, but they really focus on kids for whatever reason. And then they say, delay making an immediate decision if you feel it will produce stress. Spend time researching the possible consequences of a decision, writing down all the variables. Now, this has been something that I have also started practicing within the past year or so, and I don't know where I got it from, but it was before I read this book. I stopped making myself feel like I had to make a decision about something when the problem or the situation or the whatever was presented to me. So, for example, let's say someone might say like, hey, are you free to go? Or like, can you come? Or like, you're invited to something at the end of the month, right? And instead of putting the pressure on myself or stressing myself out about, well, can I go or can I do whatever? I have learned to just be like, I'll get back with you. Like, let me think about it. I'll get back. I don't have to make a decision about that right now. It's not what you're talking to me about. It's not for another 2 or 3 weeks. I will figure it out and I will let you know, but I'm not going to pressure myself into making a decision right now because you want to answer right now. You know, like I don't have to make a decision about everything in the moment that something comes up. And I mean that about everything. I mean that about planning trips. If you know you want to go on a trip in like the next 4 to 6 months or whatever, and you're talking about where you want to go, what you want to do, you might know exactly where you want to go, which is half of the battle, but maybe you don't know where you want to stay. In cases like that, where if I start to feel like researching all of that and figuring that out is stressful to me, I will literally stop myself and say, I don't have to make a decision about this today. Like the hotels, the resorts, they're not going anywhere. As long as I have my flight and we know we're actually going, we can figure the rest out when I'm in a different headspace. But I'm not about to sit here and pressure myself into picking out something because that's just not necessary. So little things like that, delaying making an immediate decision when I feel stressed out has really, really helped me out a lot. And so then they talk about using medication to manage your stress. And I guess in the 1980s, I'm not going to read what they said verbatim about that, but I guess in the 1980s, they really weren't prescribing medications for that as much as they do now, which I guess that's very interesting to me, actually. But yeah, they kind of go into that. Then they start to talk about how regular exercise is one of the best ways to cope with your stress. It says one of the best methods of coping with stress is to maintain a program of regular exercise. Exercise dissipates life's tensions efficiently. And so what I will say about that, because I like to keep it real honest around here. What I think about that is, does exercise reduce your stress? Sure. Does it reduce your stress long term? Maybe. What I do know for certain, though, is that 1 hour, that hour and a half that you're working out, you probably are not thinking about your problems. So exercise to me can be an escape from whatever you might be dealing with in real life. I think it would be a disservice to all of us to believe that we're going to work out and then, you know, just like magic, you care about your problems a lot less. No, I think for most adults, while you're in an active activity, you're thinking about the thing you're doing. And then at some point when that activity is over, slowly but surely, maybe those same thoughts or feelings or the things that are bothering you, the things you have on your plate, they probably do come back, which is why I think more than exercise, people should really consider therapy as their first, number one method for dealing and managing their stress. And then using like your diet and exercise to kind of supplement whatever work you're doing with the therapist. But that's just my personal opinion, girl. And then they talk about relaxation techniques. They say one of the easiest ways to relax is to concentrate on and control your breathing patterns. Lie in a comfortable position on your back, on the floor, or on your bed. Place a pillow under the backs of your knees and another under your head. Lay with your arms at your sides in a natural position, perhaps bending your arms just a little slightly, and place your palms flat on the floor or bed. Now, they recommend that we do this, y'all, twice a day for 10 minutes. So again, I say, who has the time and where are they getting it from? Because who has the time to take a grown-up little siesta 2 times out of the day for 10 minutes? That's 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes. And I guess you would have to do that like on your lunch break or whenever. But I'm like, in the 80s, y'all had time to lay down twice a day for 10 minutes, like during the day. Or is this something that you're doing like in the morning? Your alarm clock goes off. You lay there for 10 minutes and you just try to get your mind right for the day. And then at night before you go to bed, you lay there for another 10 minutes just to kind of like woosah from the day. Maybe that's what they were doing. I don't know. But the idea that you would do this during the day feels a little out of touch for 2024. Then they say that massage is another good relaxation technique, and they say that people should be getting massages once or twice a week. So girl, book your masseuse and make sure you're going once or twice a week because we all have so much time. Then they say you could also relax for 10 to 15 minutes in a hot tub, sauna, or hot bath to reduce stress. And that these are things you could actually do on a daily basis. Heat is very soothing to the body, which slowly relaxes as a result of it. And eventually your mind goes along with your body and also relaxes, greatly reducing your stress levels. Now, I will say that when I was using the sauna on a regular basis and I was going and I was a sauna girly, I really do think that was helpful and relaxing to me. And this is why I need to get back to a place where my life has more time for other areas of wellness, because I was going to the sauna one side of the week and I was letting that be in place of my workout, right? And I kind of got away from it. I even canceled my membership over there because I'm like, I'm so busy now. I don't even have time to come over here. So I canceled my membership. But that is one thing that I would really like to work towards being able to do again on a regular basis, because I do believe that really does help. Like the red light therapy and all of the benefits that come from sitting in the sauna, I believe in them and I really do think they work. Then they talk about meditation and practicing meditation maybe once or twice per day to reduce your feelings of stress can really be helpful. But then this next one is one that I think is so extremely helpful. It is something that I do in my life and before I even knew it was a thing, because not that I thought everybody did this, because I know some people don't, but when I mean to tell y'all this really does work, I mean it works. And the tip is arguing with yourself, which we can say talking to yourself, right? Talking to yourself really does help. One interesting stress-reducing technique that psychologists suggest is self-control, which you can think of as arguing with yourself. In this method, you simply talk to yourself, telling yourself how trivial a particularly stressful situation really is when compared with something else that has happened to you and which you survived unscathed. Talking to yourself can be quite effective because most persons have a tendency to exaggerate their problems. Actually, there are very few really serious situations in life. Almost anything can be talked out, either internally or with someone you trust. Then when your problem has been worked out, your level of stress will go down. And let me tell y'all about how this works and why it works. Okay, so let's say you've got, whatever your problem is. You just pick one. You've got whatever problem. Or maybe you had an interaction or you got into an argument with somebody or whatever. You just have that yucky feeling, right? I cannot tell you how helpful it is to walk yourself through your own situation and try not to be biased in it, because I find that it doesn't really work when you're biased. You have to truly, factually walk yourself back through whatever it is that's causing you to be stressed out, right? And talk yourself through it. Say, well, this is what happened, or this person said this and then I said that. Then these things happen, and now I'm stressed out. Then I personally like to look at whatever the facts are, and then I ask myself if I would have done anything differently, or what could I have possibly done differently, or what can I do in response to whatever the situation is. I pick a solution, if there is one, like if there is something that I can do to kind of like bring myself back to a peaceful place. I figure out what that is, and then I do it so that I can give myself peace and peace of mind, if I look back at the situation and I'm like, nah, like there's nothing I can do about this. It's just messed up, but it's causing me to be stressed out. Then I have to say to myself, oh, well, then we just have to leave that. We just have to leave that where it's at. Like there's nothing I can do about it. So there's no point in being stressed about it. We'll just have to kind of meditate and pray on this issue kind of resolving itself, because I can't fix it and there's nothing I can do about it. So I don't need to let it stress me out. I need to move on, right? Talking yourself through things. And when I say talk, I mean out loud, just like I'm talking to you right now. Or you can do it how Issa Rae did it in Insecure. You can get in front of your mirror. I don't do the mirror thing. I leave that to Issa. But I will certainly walk myself through something out loud and be like, was I wrong? Or was there something I could have done? Like, then I'll say to myself, like, nah, girl, you good. Like, you're good. And then I'll say, okay, flips page. We're moving on. But when I feel like there is a solution, or maybe there is something I can do to rectify a situation, I figure out what that is, and then I do it. And even if it doesn't necessarily like fix, quote unquote, the problem, meaning that maybe someone else is still upset, or maybe someone else is still confused, or someone else still might have hurt feelings or whatever, I literally do whatever is going to be soothing to my nervous system. So if it's going to make me feel better to like apologize or to confront some situation or somebody, or if it's going to bring me some level of peace to like say what I want to say about something, I'll do it. And I really don't even care about what the opposition has going on with it. I'll say what I have to say, or I'll admit when I was wrong, or I'll apologize, or whatever it is. I will immediately get the peace that I needed from the situation. And then, like I said, I flip the page and then I go on. I think talking to yourself is so helpful. And a lot of times what ends up happening is if something happens and I feel like it's a big deal, and you know how that happens sometimes. Something will happen and maybe you get on the phone and you call your mom and you tell your mom about it. Then the next time you talk to your best friend, you're like, girl, can you believe this happened? You talk to her about it. You might tell your partner about it. Whatever. You're telling all, like you're venting and telling all these people about this situation. And then at some point in that, you realize that, like this book says, like it wasn't even that big of a deal, right? What I have learned through talking to myself is that sometimes when I say it out loud back to myself, I'm like, oh, Tia, like this isn't even worth your energy. And I would say that probably happens 98% of the time. 98% of the time, by the time I re-talk myself through something, because I felt like maybe I was working up a mad, and what I mean by working up a mad is like I'm talking myself into being upset about something. I'll feel myself like working up a mad, and then I'll start talking myself through it, and I'll be like, girl, no, actually, this doesn't deserve your energy. Like, this doesn't even deserve for you to be mad about it. Like, let's just move on. Let's move on, because you're just going to age yourself, letting all this stress, like these little small things, stress you out, when at the end of the day, like they don't even mean nothing. So talking to yourself, 10 out of 10, recommend. Then they say rely on a friend, which, talk to a friend. Then they talk about having a hobby. And they say stress experts recommend that overly stressed individuals adopt hobbies to disengage themselves from the manic pace of life. Any type of recreational activity, and the more physically demanding it is, the better, will reduce your perception of being overly stressed. Then they talk about nutrition. And they say nutrition is definitely a factor in stress reduction. Chronic illness is a leading contributor to stress. And a health-promoting balanced diet will help you to maintain good health. Reducing your level of body fat will allow you to move about with less effort and participate more fully and fruitfully in recreational activities. Moreover, controlling your weight will make you feel better about yourself. You will be less shy, more self-assured, and these qualities contribute substantially to the relief of stress. So there is that. Then they talk about avoiding fad diets and how to use diet and exercise together, because they are important factors in reducing stress, yada, 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 things we already knew. Then they talk about beneficial stress, positive beneficial stress, the stresses of joyous occasions, challenging tasks, stimulating companionship can give you confidence and help make life worth living. Such stresses add excitement. Without them, you would find life to be boring. Successful and happy people tend to be goal-oriented. They stress themselves beneficially, but within reasonable limits. By setting higher and higher goals, conditioning their minds to accept new stress, they reach their goals, and this in turn leads to setting even higher goals, which makes self-induced beneficial stress a constructive force in our lives. Which, yay, we already knew that good stress is good for you. It can be good for you as long as you're not overdoing it. And it also points out that stimulating companionship is also beneficial stress. So that just basically means that the relationships that we are in can either bring you good stress or bad stress. And I think we kind of already knew that. So it says, as you create goals, don't discourage yourself by trying to change behaviors over which you have little control, is like their last piece of advice. I don't know. I like it. I think that they kept that stress management advice very simple, very, very easy for us to follow. Like I said, I know some of it was a little redundant because we're still practicing a lot of those things too, but I thought the one tip about talking to yourself was very insightful because I'm sure a lot of us do that. Hopefully a lot of people do, and I'm not the only one, which is fine if I'm the only one because it's very helpful and it works. But hopefully some of those tips are things we can all kind of implement to reduce our stress levels or manage our stress levels. So, let's talk about some of the random and relatable things that I have seen or that are going on in life right now. Obviously, back to school was a big one. My kids have now been in school for like a couple weeks. So back to school went off without a hitch for us. Really didn't have any problems. We got all the things. We got everybody to where they were supposed to be. And so far, everything has been great. There was one small incident over at my son's school, but once I addressed that, it was fine. Like we're all good now. So yay for back to school. If your children have not started school yet and you're still in the summer trenches or you're in the back to school buying all of the things trenches, like girl, you are in my T's and P's. Do the best you can and just know that once that first day of school comes, you can take a huge sigh of relief of knowing you did good by that baby all summer and you got them to where they were supposed to be on the first day of school. And that's all anyone can ask of a mother, I think. I mean, they could ask us for more, but I feel like we're already given a lot. So like stall me out a little bit. So yes, back to school. Yay. I did watch the Celine Dion documentary because Demetria from Ratchet and Respectable talked about it. And I was like, ooh, let me watch it. Girl, like I had no idea that was Celine Dion's life and that she was dealing with so much. Please watch it. Please know that if you watch it, it is, it's a lot to process and take in. And she still has young boys and, my heart goes out to her because, man, that is a lot. She's dealing with a lot. So give that a watch if you can. We also binged Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal on Apple TV. Great show. Jake plays an attorney who ends up having to basically represent himself in somewhat of like a murder mystery, like whodunit kind of thing. 10 out of 10 recommend. If you haven't seen it, please go watch. And all of the episodes are up there. Like you don't have to wait for them to release episodes. The entire season is up there. Go give that a watch. We also did a binge of The Average Joe, which stars Dion Cole, is on Netflix. So good. It is also like a crime kind of what is going on kind of thing, but with a funny element to it. And once you start watching it, you're not going to be able to stop. So my advice would be if you start Average Joe, you got to start that in the daytime. Like don't start that when you're about to go to bed because you'll be up all night trying to finish it and it's good. You will want to finish. So watch that also if you haven't seen it. I'm trying to think of what else I have seen that was really good. I feel like we have watched everything. Ooh, I watched the Lacey Peterson documentary on Netflix. Very good. I think I still have one episode of it left, but very good. And I think because when the whole Lacey Peterson thing happened, I was much younger, so maybe I wasn't following that, but I definitely remember the story, like when she went missing and it being all over the news. Like I remember that. So seeing it from her, which they have her family and friends up there, and they also have his family up there too. I think that's his sister-in-law. But I think from what I've been told, and I haven't fact checked this yet, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I want to say somebody said the Innocence Project has picked up his case, and I'm like, well, when the Innocence Project picks you up, don't you got to be innocent? Don't you have to be? I thought that was a requirement, like a prereq for them to do. I don't know, but that's what the people say. I'm like, ooh, yeah, that is something, like my grandma used to say. What else have I seen? I'm getting to the point now where I'm out of my notes because this outline was based on when I first recorded everything. Oh, something that I have seen on TikTok that, I'm not going to name names because it feels like a lie. But there is a very big influencer right now who is on social media, and people are in their feels about her and her blocking people because she changed her name on social media and people responded to her changing her name. And so now there has been like discourse all over my FYP on TikTok about this. And what I will say about this is that I think sometimes people do things because they like the discourse. They know that discourse will come and they don't mind it because the discourse kind of helps them in some way. I do not believe that people always do stuff because of their boundaries or like, these are my boundaries. Nope. Sometimes I feel like people do things just to straight up be not nice people or just to kind of like be mean or to be like overly sassy or whatever. And I think that is what that situation is all about. That's just my opinion because like to me, if I didn't want somebody to talk to me about something or if I felt like I wanted to keep something private, I would never say anything to anybody about it. Right? Period. And I'm sure everyone is that way. Like literally everyone listening to this podcast probably has a social media presence, right? And on your social media, you put out there what you don't mind people engaging with. For the most part, people do. So when you put something out there that you really don't want people to engage with, that is a choice that you're making for whatever the reason. And for the people whose feelings are hurt because of the response to the engagement, I feel bad for them because I don't think everybody was trying to be like mean or funny or like malicious or like pick on her. I think some people really were just like genuine in their response to her name change. And the fallout from that or the noise surrounding it has been quite interesting to me. Something else that's been very interesting to me also on my social media feeds is this whole thing about Blake Lively and the movie that she's in. Now, I gotta be honest, I have not read Colleen Hoover, I think that's her name. I haven't read any of her books. This particular one has been made into a movie. The book is called It Ends With Us. That's the same name as the movie. Blake and Justin Baldoni both star in the movie, and I think Justin is the director. Apparently, things have happened on the set of that movie where I guess Blake and her husband kind of steamroll or bulldozed the directing efforts and made changes to the script. And during the promotion of the movie, Justin is being very clear that the movie is about domestic violence and I guess Blake is taking the more of like the approach of like, no, bring your girlfriends, wear your florals, like this cute little rom-com situation. And I guess Justin is kind of like, girl, no, this is not a cute rom-com situation. Like they're going to come to this and they're going to be blindsided by the fact that this movie deals with a very heavy subject matter. And I'm glad that he is speaking out about that. Number one, because domestic violence is obviously like a big topic that people shouldn't shy away from talking about, because the more people talk about it or the more we're all exposed to what the reality of that type of situation might be like, the more understanding and compassionate we can be when we come across somebody who might be in that situation, right? Right. Okay. But I'm also glad that he's sharing what the movie is about, because let me tell you two things I don't like going to the movies to see: slaves and women getting beat up. I love Angela Bassett, but I do not watch What's Love Got to Do with It. And I love Tina Turner. Love them both. I saw What's Love Got to Do with It one time, and I knew one time was all I needed. Have I seen that movie more than once? Yes. Have I seen it because I sat down and I found it and wanted to watch it? No. It probably just happened to be on somewhere where I was at. But you will never hear me be like, ooh, girl, I'm going to sit down tonight with my Chipotle and watch What's Love Got to Do with It. It's not going to happen, because I don't like seeing women get beat up. Another movie that you're never going to hear me talk about watching is Jennifer Lopez's Enough, right? Even though at the end of that movie, she like fights back and she wins and everything is fine in the end, I'm like, I don't want to see that man beat on you, and I don't want to see you have to fight that man. I don't like movies that are like that. You know, I just don't. So I'm glad he spoke out about it, because now I know, oh, unless someone comes to me and says the movie is about that topic, but they're not showing it. Maybe it's just like a unseen theme of the movie where it's discussed, but it's not shown on camera. Then okay. Then yes, sure, maybe, right? And the movie has gotten really great reviews. I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 90-something. So apparently the movie is not bad, but I'm glad he came out and spoke about it and said like, no, this is what this movie is actually about. It's a very serious topic. We want people to get help, and we want people to know that characters like the one that he portrays in the movie, they're very real people. So there can be a person out there who seems nice and is charming and so likable and lovable and all those things, but at home he's a monster, right? Or even he's very nice and lovable to the person that he's abusing. And so that makes it hard for her to leave, because, and I think this is his whole point about it, he's like, that makes it hard for the woman to leave when she feels like there are these really sweet, genuine, endearing moments. And so that makes her feel like, oh, when these other things happen, that's not really him. Like, he's really a loving person who happens to do these really bad things. And Justin's point in promoting the movie was, once we get a better understanding of what some people's relationships are like, we can kind of start to better help people. And I totally get that, and I think it's great. Apparently, Blake has been promoting the movie in a different way, and I think promoting some of her personal brands. And in some of the clips that I've seen from the interviews that she's done, she really hasn't even been that nice, or she just kind of seems like she's not in the room for the interview. Like, they'll ask her something and she'll respond in a way that's kind of like mean girlish, but also just way off base. Like, she didn't even answer the person's question. And I'm just like, is Blake in the interview? Like, does she know she's at work? Like, does she know that they're asking her questions about the movie? Because this is a little odd. But then again, I didn't watch Gossip Girl, so I don't know nothing about Blake outside of the fact that she's married to Ryan Reynolds and she was in Gossip Girl. And sometimes I do see her in movies, but I've never like gone to the movie theater to see any of her movies. This was actually the first one that I was considering going to, because I thought it was like a romance movie based on a book. But when all this stuff started happening and it started coming out that like, no, this movie is actually about something else, that there's a love of course, there's like a romance element to it, but the movie, its overall theme is about something else. I was like, ooh, okay, well, let me hold off on that until I get more details about what I can expect from this movie. So that's also been very interesting to kind of follow and see. Because I didn't know I didn't know she was like that. And apparently her and her husband got married on a plantation. And see, and that's why you can't start doing people dirty. I don't know what she did to Justin in terms of like their working relationship. Whatever she did to him that became public knowledge made people like dig deep. So now they're going into the files and the crates of Blake Lively. And now other things are starting to come out about her. And one of the things that came out, and maybe because I just don't follow her, I didn't know this, but apparently they got married like on a plantation, and she had a whole like antebellum era, and I don't know, girl, but it's not looking too good for her. The people on TikTok are saying they starting to do her like they did Jennifer Lopez, which do not get mad at me for saying this, please don't. But single J-Lo is my favorite, and I know J-Lo don't like being single. I know she don't like it. I know she's adverse to it. I think she's allergic to it, to be honest. But single J-Lo is my favorite. Now, we don't have confirmation on whether or not her and Ben Affleck have actually broken up, like for real. But I love, down to my core, how that woman will literally leave a man and act like she never knew him. I don't know J-Lo's sign. Like, I don't know when her birthday is or nothing like that. But I love how she can be caught up in Anita Baker's rapture. She can be in love one day, marrying that man down, right? One day. And if he even gives a glimpse of not being interested in wanting to be with her no more, what I mean to tell you, she leaves them where she finds them. And you have to celebrate that. You have to. I'm sure she might be a little heartbroken and maybe she's a little sad and she might be going through some things personally behind the scenes. And that makes me feel bad for her if she's like sad and heartbroken. But I also kind of love the way her unbotheredness when it comes to like romantic relationship, it kind of eats down. Does it not? I love that. I love how you could run into Jennifer Lopez on the sidewalk today. And if she is as nice as she says she is, and you were like, hey girl, like, what's going on with you and Ben? And she was like, girl, I don't know him. Like, Ben who? I would love that. I would love it because Benjamin who? Benjamin is back in Boston. Benjamin low-key probably should have stayed with his first wife. But we won't talk about that. But he probably should have stayed with the original Jen Garner. He probably should have just made that one work because she seems like an absolute doll, like an absolute angel. I love how Jenny from the block really does handle situations like this like any other around the way girl. And she's like, man who? Ain't nothing to it. I can always get a man. And when I decide that I don't want to be with that man no more, like that man is gone. He's gone out of my life. He's gone off of my social media. He is gone out of my memory. He is in my rear view. Girl, I love that for her. Love it for her. I've been seeing little clips of her here and there, and she looks like she's happy and enjoying her life. She just had a birthday. I think I just saw clips from like a birthday party or something that she had. So her birthday was recent. I don't know. I love it and I like to see it. Now, rumor has it that our good niece, Keke Palmer, might be pregnant again by that same boy that she said all those bad things about a few months ago. And I'm hoping that is a rumor. But if it is not, and it is true, then I wish Keke all of the best during her pregnancy and delivery. But, you know, Keke, you're going to have to probably keep your personal problems to yourself moving forward, girl. You can't get us wrapped up in it and then boomerang back to him. You got to take a lesson out of J-Lo's book. And when you say you're done with somebody did you wrong and you done, then you got to stay done. So I hope, sincerely I do hope that if she is, she's happy and she's healthy and she's safe above anything. But I also really kind of hope it's just a rumor because, wow, wow. And I think there was another little bit of juicy goodness that I'm forgetting in this moment, but I was going to talk about it before I talked about Kiki. Oh, well, I can't remember what it was. And girl, I don't want to hold you. I don't want to be like summertime. Summertime don't know when to go home or when to get off the phone because my goodness, I'm ready for fall. Like I've had enough summer. Summer has been summering now since it was supposed to be spring. I did see that on social media where people were saying like, oh, yeah, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all are always moving over to the next thing. You can't appreciate where you are or be present in the moment. And if I was a keyboard thug, I would have responded. But since I have better things to do, I don't. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, honey, it really depends on where you live. When you live in the southeast region of these United States, there is no spring. One day it gets hot and then it just is. And it's hot until it's not. And so for us, it's been hot probably, I think, since like the end of April, right? It's been, and I mean hot and humid. All of May, all of June, all of July, all of August, it has been hot. And we still have September to go. And I'm not getting the vibes from September that it's going to cool off, right? So that is why people are saying they're ready for fall because we're tired of it being hot. We're tired of it being 90 degrees. I'm tired of having to go run errands and do all of that. And like, why am I sweating? Why am I hot? I'm ready and I'm not even asking for it to be cool. I'm just asking for it to be below 70. Just give me below 70 with a nice little breeze every now and again. Give me a reason to want to be outside because now, truth be told, when the weather changes, that is going to be peak outdoor season. For the girlies that get silk presses, that's silk press season. That's we're outside season. That means we can actually be cute and stay cute season because we don't have to worry about sweating our hair or our makeup or our sweating through our clothes, God forbid. We're over it. Summer is truly the girl that doesn't know when to go home. Like she's going to shut down the club every time. And it's like, summer. No one should be here as long as you are. But we're anxiously awaiting fall and all of her goodness. So, yes. Well, I think that's enough for one call, girl. I will try to do better about catching up with you guys. But like I said, 75 Hard is really consuming all of my time. So try to catch me on social media. I'm sharing my food. I'm recapping my days when I can. And I so enjoyed catching up with you. Remember, when you're out, compliment someone, tell her something nice about herself, make her feel good. Don't compete, don't compare, don't complain. What God has for you is for you, and never knock another woman's hustle. I will talk to you next time. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Tia's Table. Love you, girl. Bye.